And we are live. So we are broadcasting live to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Very exciting. I'm joined today by Cheryl Thompson, and we have got a big, exciting announcement for you. But before that, Cheryl, would you like to introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know you so far?
Yes, I would love to. So Cheryl Thompson, as the badge says, leadership coach. I was a leader within financial services for 20 years, and I learned a fair bit through the good and the bad and the ugly. And what I did a couple of years back was take that into my own leadership coaching business, covering lots of different areas, working with men and women. But a huge part of that was working with burnout and boundaries and communication and how we can prevent us getting into a sticky spot rather than having to work it out after the event. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years, and I absolutely love it. I have some incredible clients and I get to enjoy my day every day. So brilliant.
Sounds
That's me.
Thank you. And for anyone who doesn't know me, who's watching this, Emma Matthews. I had a long career in the financial services industry, reached a senior level, burnt out, created a business post that, burnt out again. Then I learned the lessons on burnout and have since created an amazing business where I support individuals and companies to prevent and recover from burnout. And I was in a mastermind and met the wonderful Cheryl. And since then, we've actually co-published a book together. We worked together on corporate contracts. And it got to the stage that we both realized a big focus of our work was supporting individuals and businesses around the topic of boundaries. And we thought it's about time that we launched the program that both of us should have been through back in our corporate days when we were on the approach to burnout, to actually learn what boundaries are, how to create them healthily, how to reset them when they're out of balance, and essentially get on that path to what you want in life rather than be at the effect of what everyone around you is doing. So that is essentially what we have to announce today, the Boundaries Mastercourse program, which is going to teach you how to do all of that and more over the course of 8 weeks. And Cheryl, anything that you'd like to add on that and kind of how you see the program?
Yeah, you described it perfectly, and I think one of the big reasons why I wanted to be part of this and create this is because this is what I needed back then, exactly like you said. There's nothing worse than being in a job, in an industry, in a role. We were both financial services, so our background's banking, mine's consultancy as well. We both worked at C-suite level. But when you're in that job and you're giving everything you've got, and you're passionate and you're excited and you're high achieving, but something's just not coming back and you feel like you're going a bit crazy. That's how I felt. I felt like I was going a bit crazy. And then I felt like no one understood as well. I felt like I was speaking into the wind, and I tell you what I got. I felt ill a lot of the time. I got sort of tonsillitis and throat infections and colds, and I still battled through. I was that really good human that turned up and spread it around the office, even though she was ill, because heaven forbid she didn't turn up. And you give and you give and you give and you give, and you get to a point where you don't recognize who you are anymore. And I wish that somebody could have sort of tapped me on the shoulder and said, there's 2 women that understand this, that they get this. Not only do they understand and get it, they've been through it and they've successfully got through it. And they've learned the lessons that they don't want you to have to go through in isolation on your own. I wish someone had told me that. In fact, even saying it now, it's making my throat scratch, because that means it definitely meant something to me. I needed what we've got. I didn't need to feel lonely. And I don't want anyone who's watching this, who's experienced any kind of trauma in the workplace, to think there must be something wrong with me. It's my problem that I need to deal with alone. And I feel like, I suppose I get a bit passionate about this because I'm like, you're not alone. It's not you. And there's so many tools and techniques that you can be taught and that you can learn and you can put into practice immediately. Like literally after the hour, go away and do, and feel empowered and courageous, and it will change your world. And that's what we've got. And I suppose that, this is me rattling because I'm just so excited about it. This will change people's lives. This will change people's relationships with themselves and with those around them and with those they work with. And I promise to anyone who's watching, only for the better. It only. We've said this before, Emma. This is about boundaries, not barriers. This is not about putting walls up around yourself. This is not about being preventative. This is about, yes, protection, but protection for everybody. Everybody works better when they know where they stand. And I'm really excited that we get to deliver this. Like bonkers excited, if you can't tell.
I love that. I feel exactly the same. And I love how you shared that story of how it felt for you. I think if I think back to those moments where I was getting out of balance and didn't have the right boundaries, I was angry a lot. I felt resentment, that sense of, just giving way more than I'm getting. So if anyone is watching this and can see themselves in that sense of anger, frustration, just not really feeling in control of life and on that path to what they want, this is a program that will help you in so many aspects of work, of home, personal relationships, because it's about doing the work on yourself and then having that confidence, that belief, that self-worth to actually know when you can set a boundary in life to get what you want, essentially. Absolutely.
And this is for anyone out there just not feeling right. This is just not feeling good enough, right enough, feeling misunderstood, feeling not heard, feeling not seen. If you have any of those experiences, you need to be on this course. It's non-negotiable. And I tell you something else, Emma, what I will say. I was looking through all of our content that's going into this course over the 8 weeks, because that's what this is. It starts next Wednesday, the 2nd. That is the 2nd, isn't it? I'm not
2nd of March. Yeah.
2nd of March at 6 o'clock. We've created this content, and it's essentially a work with us for 8 weeks in currently 4 sessions. We've got a feeling it might go into a bonus session, but currently 4 sessions with activities in between. When I think about what we've added into this Mastercourse, it blows my mind. And it's a paid Mastercourse, and I think people need to know the importance of that, because we do so much, don't we, Emma, on our own profiles, and I'm all about the giving, and I think we actually give way more than what we probably realize, because we give out to our community as well, and But for me, there's something about signing up to a course that you pay for because you've got skin in the game. I know that for me, whenever I've had anything for free, I listen to it. I'll turn up, and I'll turn up when I've got time, when something's bad enough, to make a decision. So when something's really hurting me and crushing me, and I'll search all my archives thinking, what can I do to fix this? This is me from corporate days. But when you pay for something and you turn up and it's scheduled into your diary that you turn up at this time every fortnight for this period of time, you're in a community of women and men, or whoever your peer group is, and you turn up to these people and you learn from each other in a safe space, that's something different. You're committing then. You're committing to yourself, and you're committing to your empowerment and your growth, and you're demanding more from your life. So when I look at what we've put into these sessions, and let's be honest, it started off as a 1 hour session, and it's already grown because we know how valuable this is and how big this is and how impactful this is. But when you commit to that and you pay for it and you sign up, it just changes your whole, for me, commitment to who you are. You're making a promise to who you are, to be different and to be more, and to go out into the world as a different human being. So, and I don't know if we've said this, I think we may have said it in other posts or content, you can buy individual chunks of this. And if that's what you feel like, if that's the right thing for you, then do that. My recommendation would be to start and finish this course with building an incredible network of people that are there to support you. Because by the end of it, you're going to be able to go out there and know how to communicate your boundaries in such a safe and confident way, in a clear and concise way, where there's no pushback from people. because we've gone through that journey, because there is sometimes pushback, but we'll have gone through that journey with you. By the end of it, you'll be able to go out there and embody your boundaries fully as a full, living, breathing, incredible human. And that will change your world. 100%. It gets me mega excited.
Yeah. Again. And that's why we're so passionate about doing this over the course of the 8 weeks. So you show up, you get the information, but you actually then have the time to actually embody it, implement it, notice where there's friction points so we can be there to support you through that over the course of the 8 weeks. Because how many times have we showed up to things, got the information and done nothing with it? This has to be different because it's too important a topic. And the implication of getting boundaries wrong just affects every aspect of your life. So we're really committed to providing a safe and supportive environment where you can do this in a way that it's for the long term. It's a sustainable boundary. You know what your values are, your beliefs are, and you've got boundaries in place to support those.
And that's one of the learning outcomes, isn't it? What your beliefs and values are. And I think most people think they know what those things are. Most people think they know what their boundaries are until someone asks you that question. And I think, like say if you're in one of these events where you go and it's a networking and someone asks you that, what are they? People would suddenly go, well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you learn you and help you understand what you will and won't tolerate in this world. Because if you don't know that, how can anyone else respect that? So that's the beauty of what we're going to do here. You're going to get deep down and dirty with who you are and be proud of it by the end of it and be able to communicate it. That for me is massive. And think about it. 8 weeks worth of work with us, safety, security, clarity, confidence, courage, freedom, full embodiment of who you are, pride in who you are, and being able to speak about that like we're doing right here, right now. And all of that for, what is it, 495 quid?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I feel like we've made a mistake. I feel like we need working. I don't know about any of your audience because they don't know me, but they certainly know you and people that, see a similar way around. If you were going to work with me for 4 hours of work, it would cost just short of $2,500 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And my clients pay that already and they get the value and the benefit of that. So the fact that there's 2 of us with all our life worth of work, because that's what this is here. This is everything we've done amazingly well, everything that's tripped us over and hurt us, everything that's broken our hearts and how we've stood back up again afterwards. And we are sharing this from a raw place, being able to show our vulnerabilities and teach others how to do the same thing and go out into their own world and do that thing. That's pretty full on, and it's 495 quid.
It's huge. And the benefit that a lot of people won't realize going into a structure like this is the network that you can create. So if you're in the corporate world, quite often your experience of learning and courses is a company provided thing. You're learning with the people that you work with. Everything feels so much different when you invest in yourself and decide that this is something for me that's outside of work. And actually the reason that we're live today, Cheryl, is that at one point in time, we both decided to put ourselves first, invest in a mastermind. We met each other and just look at the beautiful thing, all the business opportunities that have grown out of that. So don't underestimate the power also of coming together in a group as well.
Yeah. And that's what I didn't have when I was working. I had anyone who's watching me now would go, well, I was in your network however many years ago. And I had a professional network, but and I'm going to be really honest here, there was a fear connected to that because all these people could have at some point given you a job or taken you a job away because you were in the same sphere of working. These people we all had an agenda. We were all in it to look after our own silo of work. And now I'm in this professional development sphere. The amount of, we were in a mastermind together and you learn so much from other humans. And when you pledge to yourself and pledge to each other, that you're going to keep your commitment to one another, that you're going to, as you rise, you will rise with other people and you'll take other people with you without fear and without lack and without threat. By God, that's amazing. And like we say, this is how we met. This exact same forum. So what I wish I'd had back then was this ability to have a mastermind and a networking that didn't impinge on my day job, that didn't feel like it was too close to the wire. That's what we're creating, because we will all commit to each other that we're here to support one another. This is not every man for himself or woman for themselves. This is an intimate, close-knit, supportive, fierce community of people that want to protect each other and protect themselves and empower the world around them. And it starts with boundaries.
100%. And so there's so much value in that if you're an employee, a leader in the business world at the moment, but also if you're an entrepreneur, because the flip side of that is that can be incredibly lonely. Kind of, you can be the hardest boss ever to yourself, and boundaries is just as applicable there. And having a network of people who are on a similar journey to you is incredibly powerful. So I would say it's something that works if you're looking at creating boundaries in your own business, in your personal life, or at work, working for another company. These lessons are equally applicable in all of those places.
And you couldn't have, that's the perfect way to sort of underline this. It's not for any one group of people. It is genuinely for all, because boundaries are human, aren't they? So if you're a human, you need to have some boundaries. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if it's something that you're looking at, kind of, I want to get to this point in my career, in my business, you can guarantee there's some work on boundaries that you need to be doing now. It's not something that you can kind of say, oh, when I get to that level, I'll master that and I'll create the time for myself. Actually, you need to be mastering these things now, because that's where I tripped up. I think I was like, oh yeah. When I'm at that level, I'll create that balance. Now is like heads down, just put everything into my work time. No, you need it now.
Yeah, that's so spot on. It's almost as if we have to earn the right to have boundaries in any aspect of our life, or we have to be deserving enough, or. It's always that thing. What is the condition where we're always we're almost like pinning back our happiness until we achieve something. And it's the same with boundaries, isn't it? I'll be able to do that once, or if, or when. It's conditional living. That's what I'm trying to say. We apply conditions to certain things. So I can only have X when I've got Y. And what I would say about boundaries is it's a birthright. You were born having a physical body, which is a boundary. You were born having an energetic field, a boundary. You were born having. So we've got to work on creating these boundaries. And I still believe that talking about boundaries, having boundaries, means nothing unless you communicate those boundaries and know how to do that. That's often where the courage comes in, I think, because people stumble over thinking, well, if I say no to somebody, will I get punished or rejected? And that's a lot of the work that we'll do too.
Yeah, it's huge. And so we've talked about what this involves. Basically, this is the opportunity to get into this program at this crazy investment rate. Going forward,
we've made a mistake.
Going forwards, we won't be teaching these modules live. It will be an on-demand program at a higher investment rate. So this is the moment. Wherever you're watching this, whatever platform you're on, in the not too distant future, there will be links below the live video, which give you the option of going into the full Mastercourse series, which is the one we highly recommend. Or if you just want to do one chunk of the work, the first part of that is the Understanding Boundaries Masterclass next Wednesday, 2nd of March, 6 p.m. So there'll also be a link just to join that section of it. But we highly recommend the full Mastercourse.
And it works out better value anyway.
Yeah.
So one, you get more and you get it for less. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
100%. So any closing words from you, Cheryl, before we draw things to a close?
Just do it. I know that sounds like you're really... for me, I want to speak... I just want to say one final thing, which I've touched on already, but if you're feeling in a bad place and you're looking for change, this is it. take action and be galvanized into some kind of, I refuse to tolerate this anymore. You don't have to know how, because we know how. You just have to know you're worth more than what you're currently getting in all aspects, any aspects of your life, whatever they are. If something feels, if you've got any resentment, any frustration, any anger, any whatever it is, this is for you. You need to get involved, because you might not understand it's a boundary issue. It's a boundary issue, and we can help you fix it. Don't mind Lola as she leaps around at the behind me. She does not respect my boundaries ever when I'm on lives.
I think maybe she supports them in some ways. There's getting out for exercise, all of that good stuff.
That's what she'd tell you. Right, that's enough from me, by the way.
I think that's beautiful. And the thing I would add is just trust yourself and believe in yourself enough to take that first step. I know sometimes when you're making an investment, there can be that fear that comes up. But I always, the perspective I always share with my clients is, what do you want to think when you look back on this phase of your life in hindsight? What do you want to be saying and feeling about what happened next? And I know with me, I'll be celebrating those things where I was bold, I took action, put myself out there, I was humble, I learned, and I get the results.
Absolutely. Perfect way to end.
All right. So look out for the links that will shortly come under these live videos. Feel free to direct message me or Cheryl if you need a link and you can't find it. And we look forward to seeing you on the Mastercourse starting 2nd of March.